Unagi or eel is a popular and much-loved dish in Japan. Hamanako unagi is one of the most famous brands which has the longest history in Japan, dating back to 1897. Join me today as I show you how Hamanako unagi gets from a farm near Hamana Lake in Shizuoka to your table.
Minasan, konnichiwa, squishytalk.w, yokoso! Today we are at an eel farm near Hanama Lake in Shizuoka Prefecture, and I'm really excited to be here because I had no idea you could even farm eel. And I am in this rather glamorous outfit, as you can see. So I'm ready for the occasion and I'm so excited to learn all about how eel is farmed. Anyway, if you like videos like this, don't forget to like and subscribe. And let's get into it. So there are so many different buildings in this area and I'm really curious to see which one does what job. So I'm very interested to see also where the eel are, because as I'm standing here right now, it's impossible to tell where they could be. So let's go and check it all out. So I am about to feed the eel and their food is in this bucket here. It's made up of fish because eel eat other fish, and I'm really excited to do this because this is probably a once in a lifetime experience. Here we go.
In this section, there are over 14,000 eels, which is about 3 tons. The eels get fed twice a day and the water is kept at around 30 degrees.
It's really funny because the water here was quite calm, but as soon as the food hit the water, all the eels just came rushing towards it. And they have really small mouths, which I never really noticed before. And you can tell because when they're biting into the food, you can see really small chunks coming out of it. It's really interesting, and if you stare at them long enough, their movements are quite hypnotizing. Their food is actually really heavy. You could probably tell I was really struggling to get it in there. So they have a lot of food. So the process we're about to show you is how they move the eels from one location to another. So they move them from here, which is the area that they grow in, to the next area, which is the area that they would then catch them in. And it's a very interesting process, and I can't wait to show you. So this area is home to over 14,000 eels, which is over 3 tons. So there's a lot in here, and it is just in this area alone. So there's many more eels at this location, but for this specific area, that's the amount. So let's go inside and check it out. So we're trying to move the eel to the water gate just over there. And the way that you do that is to tap the water with this stick to kind of disturb the water and encourage the eel to move. Very simple, but very effective.
Moving the eels is a lot like herding sheep, making this part of the job unexpectedly similar to a more stereotypical idea of farming. The water drained at an impressive speed, making the area look dramatically different in a short amount of time.
So in the water, the eel look kind of purpley and blue. They look really, really beautiful. Whilst when they're out of the water, you can see that they're actually silver. So the water changes their colouring, and it's really interesting. They're also actually quite big and thick as well, and you only really notice that when you see them up close like this.
It only takes around 30 minutes to drain all of the water and get the eels through the gate. This type of work definitely takes a skilled team of people to accomplish. Any remaining eel are caught by hand.
It's so strong! No, it's so slippery and so strong. Oh my gosh.
It's truly hard to believe that this is the same area.
That was definitely one of the most crazy experiences I've ever had in my life. This job, I think, takes a lot of skill, and I think you have to be a bit forceful when you're moving the eel. I was not. I was too scared that I would hurt them, but it was a very interesting process, and I'm glad I got to experience it. It was fun. Scary, but fun, and I love trying new things. So the eels we moved out of the previous section end up in this area here. And then what happens is they get sucked through this tube up here, and then then they go down to another area where you weigh them, and I'll show you that now. So once they go through this tube system here, they end up down here, and this is where they're weighed. And how they do it is very interesting. So you can see these wooden boards here, and what happens is if the eel is too small, it should fall right down these grates here, and then they go back and you wait until they get a little bit bigger, and then they go through the process again. But if they're big enough, they go straight down into the next section, and then they're put into separate containers and carried off.
Once the process began, it quickly became overwhelming with the large volume of eels. This part of the job was much more fast-paced than I had initially expected.
One of them is stuck. It definitely feels like 14,000 eels now. There's so many, it's crazy. They're all really quite big and very slippery too, but some of them are getting stuck, and that's really hard to deal with.
Here you can see where the smaller eels end up after falling through the wooden divider. And this is the container for the larger ones.
That was so much more difficult than it sounded. So when you explain it, it makes sense, right? The smaller eels fall through the holes, the larger ones swim through and go out. It makes total sense. But when there's so many eels coming at you all at once, it's actually really, really difficult, because some of them get stuck, some of them are, I don't want to say aggressive, but they're like kind of jumping up at you a little bit. So that was really, really difficult, and I have so much respect for the workers here because they just handle it amazingly. Meanwhile, I'm at the end of the line completely panicking. But it was a very interesting experience, and I'm glad I got to do it, but it was definitely harder than it looks.
This is the hub where the eel is transported to for preparation before being shipped to retailers across Japan.
The shipment from the farm has just arrived, and the unagi coming off of here are the same ones that I kind of helped with this morning. So it's really interesting to be able to see the whole process from start to finish, and it's cool that I kind of got to be a part of that today. So right behind me, they're currently separating the unagi by size. So the bigger ones are on the far end, and then the medium-sized ones, and then the small ones. So there's a group of people here, and their job is literally just that, to separate the size. And yeah, it's fascinating. There's so much work that goes into this, it's truly extraordinary.
Once the eels are unloaded, they are separated by size and then weighed before being stored under running water to keep them fresh until they begin the preparation process.
So we are currently in the room where the eel gets prepared to ship out. So in this room, they cut them open and debone them, and they work at quite a fast pace in here. So each worker can debone up to 200 eels per hour, which roughly equates to about 1,000 per day per person, which is truly extraordinary.
The tails are removed as well as the bones. In this area, the eels are also placed onto skewers, ready for restaurant preparation.
So once the unagi is prepared, they go into these containers right behind me here. And it's really incredible to see how much work goes into creating all of this and to make all of this happen. So it's not just as simple as getting unagi from the farm and sending it to restaurants. There's so much preparation involved in between. We are currently outside Hamamatsu Station because just inside there is a souvenir shop that sells items from the eel farm we were just at. Also not too far from here is Maruhama, which is a restaurant that actually serves unagi from the farm we were at this morning. So in this video you are literally seeing the entire process from farm to table with unagi. So directly outside the restaurant, they actually show you a photo of the person responsible for catching the eel, which I think is fantastic because then you know how much hard work has been put into your meal getting to your table. I love that. So naturally, they also have a menu inside as well as outside. And it's very nice. I love the gold against the black. It's very eye-catching. So if you open it up, they have a detailed description of each dish so you know exactly what you're ordering, and it all looks so delicious. So I ordered unagi jo, and I'm so excited to try it. I haven't even opened up the main dish, but already the presentation is incredible. So let's take a look. So this smells amazing, and it actually uses 1 1/4 eels on here, and it's pretty heavy, and you can see that all of the rice is completely covered by unagi. I can't wait to try this. Itadakimasu. That is so soft. It's insane. I can't believe how soft that is. The unagi is softer than the rice. Wow, it's so good. The unagi is also very thick as well, and I love the tare on it. It's quite sweet. It's that typical Japanese flavor that I love so much. This is really delicious. I don't think there are any bones in this, and if there are, I can't taste them, so that's good. I think that definitely adds to the softness of the unagi, and it just makes it so easy to eat. So if you're someone that isn't a really big fan of fish, I think you would enjoy unagi because it has that balance of fish and also a very meaty taste to it, so it's really easy to enjoy. All finished. It was actually pretty easy to do. Unagi is super easy to eat because it's just so soft and full of flavor. It's honestly such a fantastic experience. So if you've never tried unagi before, I 100% recommend it. Anyway, that's it for today's video, you guys, but I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments section below. Have you ever eaten unagi in Hamamatsu before? If you haven't, I definitely recommend it. So not only is this place the processing center for unagi, but there's also a souvenir shop here where you can get some goodies like this. So unagi bones, which I really recommend, and actual unagi as well. So you can visit here and check that out. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!